Well, good morning, everyone. How are you today? Oh, really? Well, hopefully this will be an exciting day for you. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Looks like they're filming something here at the House of Pies. Pretty active day out here at the park. See Jaws over there roaming around. You okay? You got dirty, didn't you? All right, our time at the park is done. We're gonna go drop off John, go do some vlogging together. Now, I've vlogged a lot of cemeteries, but what I haven't vlogged is many hospitals. So today we're gonna vlog the oldest hospital in Hollywood. Well, here's the topic of our vlog today. It's now known as Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center, but in the early 20s, this was the first hospital in Hollywood, then known as Hollywood Hospital. So this was the premier hospital in Hollywood for the early 1920s until the Great Depression hit, and financially they almost had to close their doors. What ended up happening was a woman by the last name of Olmsted had passed away in 1904, and in her will established a trust that she wanted her money to go into a Presbyterian hospital that would treat anyone of any creed, race, financial status. And so that trust, when it saw that this hospital was in danger in 1937, invested its money into this and helped revive it. Now, unfortunately, the reason we're here today is because I thought, you know, some of my favorite people in entertainment history actually passed away in this building. You know, I really haven't done any vlogs on hospitals, so I thought I would come over and tell you about some of the people that passed away here and how they passed away. So some of the more famous people that passed away in this hospital were Alan Hale, who was kind of the swarmy guy in It Happened One Night, that they end up having to take the car from. Also Christian Brando, the son of Marlon Brando, which is in a pretty crazy story in and of itself, his life. Also Red Foxx passed away here, who I have vlogged before. I actually did a whole vlog on the day of his death. John Barrymore was pronounced dead here, and if you saw the vlog that I did on that, after he died and they took him to where he was going to be embalmed and everything, his buddies went and stole the body and went up to Errol Flynn's house and pranked him with it. So go look up my vlog on that if you haven't seen that one. But the memorable death that I wanted to talk about here today was in 1960. The great Clark Gable passed away here. He's 59 years old, and 10 days before had been changing a tractor tire at his ranch in Encino, and had a heart attack while changing that tire. They brought him here, and basically what they believe happened, it's kind of hard to really tell with Clark Gable, but some people speculate that it was the strenuous schedule that he kept during The Misfits, the last movie that he made with Marilyn Monroe. She was notoriously late for the production, and a lot of things were always going wrong, and so what was supposed to take a certain amount of time ended up taking much longer, and there was a lot more waiting. So Clark Gable's own wife even said, Kay said, you know, what really irritated him was the waiting. He couldn't stand the waiting, so to cure the boredom of all the waiting around the set, he would volunteer to do some of the crazier scenes that a stuntman probably should have done. Also, Clark Gable, like I said, it's hard to tell because he was a long-time smoker and smoked a lot of cigarettes. He also was a pretty heavy drinker. And for this movie, he was in his late 50s. He was like 59. And so he wasn't the 190-pound man that he was in his prime. He was now a 230-pound older, almost senior citizen. And so for this movie, for the Misfits, he was going to be handling wild Mustang horses, and so he decided to lose weight and actually dropped his weight from 230 pounds down to 195. So that couldn't have been good for the heart either. So unfortunately, and he had actually gotten his wife Kay pregnant, and so unfortunately he would pass away before his son was born. Actually, 4 months after Clark died here, his son was born in this exact spot, John Clark Gable. But Clark Gable had actually given or said in interviews that once he was done making the Misfits, he was going to take a long time off. He said he wasn't going to work and up until Kay had the baby, and then he wasn't going to work for quite a while after that. So it sounded like he was going to take a year off. If not, some others speculate that he was just going to be done in general there and just kind of invest his money into producing movies, which he had kind of fiddled with earlier in his career. But unfortunately, he was here one night. They said that he had been in on a great mend, on a recovery, but had been in the hospital for 10 days. He had eaten dinner with his wife, who was sleeping across the hall, and about 10 p.m. at night, he looked up at the nurse in his room as he was reading a newspaper, like he was going to say something, then just put his head back on the pillow and passed away. And his attending physician that always attended to him was already in the building and was there within moments, and they couldn't revive him. They say in an early press release that when he first died, that they believed that it was a second heart attack. It was the end of the King of Hollywood. Clark Gable was gone in 1960, and like I said, in 1961 he was going to have his, well, I was going to say first child, but there's some speculation that the child with Loretta Young, and there's a lot to back it up that that child was also his. But yeah, this was the death hospital of, unfortunately, Clark Gable. Think of that. Clark Gable, Red Fox, John Barrymore, all died of heart attacks, and they all died here. Now, someone else who also died here that I was a big fan of was Moe Howard of the Three Stooges. And they say on the website for the hospital that some of the other famous celebrities that didn't pass away here, but that had been patients here, I guess, were Babe Ruth, Joan Crawford, Betty Davis, people like that. Yep, Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center. I looked for quite a while and couldn't find any information as to what room it was he passed away in, but there were 434 rooms, so you know, it could have been any one of those, I guess. One of the things I couldn't quite understand is why, if Clark Gable had a heart attack in Encino, why they brought him all the way up here to Hollywood. I don't know, it just seems strange to me, but then again, who knows, maybe with the times and maybe who his personal physician was. What's going on here? Speaking of the Grammy Museum, they have some really cool exhibits coming up that I'm going to be vlogging soon, so you'll have that to look forward to. Nice look, Conan. Something just seems so Hollywood about that Doritos truck being there. I don't know. Wow, you don't see an old Hires root beer sign painted on a wall very often anymore. I forgot about Hires. All right, I just popped in, got an oil change. Got to go run one more errand to the 99-cent store. Gotta get some shaving cream. And we'll go back and hang out with Jaw. Crazy as it sounds, this place always has what you want. Almost always. Sometimes what you don't know you need. We could definitely use some of those. I had to pop in here and get this ready board, that foam backing that I put the tile art on, because I have just enough tile art, well, tiles left to make another one, and I think Breck wants one, so I'll probably figure out a design for him, get one of these. Ah, there it is. Look at this classic place. Great name also. Out taking Jaw for his nightly walk. It's kind of amazing to think about how on one part of the United States it's freaking snowing, and then on another part people like me are wearing short sleeve shirts. Isn't weather a funny thing? Well, pretty cool car with a heck of a lot of tickets because it's parked in a red zone. That spells trouble to me, because you don't usually get more than one ticket a day around here. Here we have the famous Jaws house. Some call it the Black Dahlia house because that's where they speculate that she was murdered and dismembered, but nobody will probably really ever know. It's a Frank Lloyd Wright house. Look at it. I mean, that's pretty cool Mayan brickwork up there. Even the steps. Well, my friends, we're gonna call it a day. I actually had to spend quite a bit of the day today setting up something for a future vlog. So you will see that sometime in the who knows whenever future, but it's in motion. Thank you, Sandra Gray, for becoming my newest Patreon, and thank you everyone for watching. Have a great night. We will see you all tomorrow. Good night.